Josh, I want to get off education for a while. Folks that know me know that lifelong learning is not just the name of my company, it's not just my brand, it's my lifestyle. I'm always trying to be at my best professionally and personally. I have accepted that my life will forever be uncomfortable. There's times that I don't want to work out. There's times that I don't want to eat right. I don't want to rehearse for any of my keynotes or any of my presentations. I don't want to write, but I make sure that I do it every day because I stop caring about my feelings. I'm focused on my outcomes. You talk about God a lot. And I have a buddy, his name is Tobias, and I know he's watching, listening. What up, T? And he said to me, you think that God cares about how you feel? There's 10 commandments. You think he cares how you feel about these? No, he wants obedience. And it hit me, huh? You hear people all the time say, oh, if I don't feel good, I'm not going to do that. Okay, that's fine. But what about your goals? If you have a goal, in order for you to achieve your goal, you have to be uncomfortable. The price of transformation is being uncomfortable. Are you not going to work that day because you don't feel it? Oh, I don't feel good. I don't want to do that. No, you think about the outcome and how great you're going to feel and how positive it'll be and how great everything will be at the end and not in between or not before. I took what my friend said and now I try not to look at my feelings. I try to look at how do I want to feel after I'm done.
Right.
That's an important thing. I recently turned 49 years old. And Josh, I do know that we're going to die. Like, I get that. And I always say, hey, I'm actually ready to go, but I think that it'd be nice if I can meet my grandkids, not for me, but for them. And to see my kids that are now young adults, see them be able to live without me. On my 49th birthday, I laid in my bed and I reflected, and my mortality hit me for the first time. Where I thought about, okay, if you go soon, how are your relationships? This might sound mean, but I tell my friends all the time, the first time you have a major problem, let's talk about it. If you want to cry on my shoulder, that's cool. But the second, third time, we better have some solutions. The only people that I'm willing to get very emotional with right now is my wife and my kids. Nobody else. Make sense what I'm saying?
A
Yeah,
100%.
right. I thought about those relationships. The one that's the hardest is my 18-year-old son. Not because we don't get along, it's because he's busy all the time. He's busy and I'm not cool anymore. He's at Gold's Gym and he's around these other guys. I'm not the cool guy anymore. I said to him, because I thought that he would like this. I'm like, hey, let's go to the Arnold Classic. I really want to see Arnold and I think it'd be fun. He's like, nah, dad, I want to go to WrestleMania. I said, WrestleMania? You haven't watched wrestling in years. He goes, yeah, but that's my first love. I went and got the tickets. I did not know that The Rock was going to be there, The Undertaker, John Cena, all the people that he grew up watching. And Josh, he was smiling, he was laughing, he was jumping up and down. And I realized this on the show. People have told me you have to be interested in what your kids are interested in, not the other way around. Him and I agreed that moving forward, we will go to one or two events every year. And that's our thing. Well, anyway, I watch you online, brother, and I see that you already been doing this with your kids in college football for years. Please explain that.
As I explained earlier, I used to run a big school in Texas, 2,500 kids. I used to run a little city, close to 3,000 daily. It takes a lot out of you. And thanks to the team members that I worked with, that school turned around from a D minus to a B minus in 3 years. It went from an 81% graduation rate to a 92% graduation in 3 years.
Mm,
So that takes a lot of time to make sure that that happens because you need to be visible. If you want change in a school, the lead chair needs to be visible in every activity to have conversations, sometimes awkward, but to have conversations. That avoids the major fires. But
mm,
you know what? I've been raising other people's kids for years. I was at their baseball events and the parents weren't there. I was at their choir events and their parents weren't there. As you could see on social media, I post everything on social media about my school, whatever that school is. And I don't like using the term my at all, but the school that I'm working with and supporting. One day I was driving up to a little Mexican market in the morning and I got a call from Dallas and saying, hey, there is a school open. Are you willing to move from El Paso to Dallas? You still got to interview, you still got to go through the process. And if you're selected, but we think that you're the right fit for that school, which is where I'm at right now. I thought about it and I go, okay, when does it close? Oh, today at 2 p.m. You see, the Lord placed that on my shoulder because I had just had a baby. So here I'm looking at forsaking my children for other people's kids. So, hey, administrator out there, are you willing to forsake the hard work that you just did 3 years in a row? Are you willing to give out on all that blood, sweat, and tears that you did to focus now on you? Because
Mm,
sometimes, and you know this, George, you know that in public education, sometimes the loyalty does not work both ways, especially from central office, because they have their own game plan. And sometimes their game plan does not match up the educator's game plan. And the only person that loses there is the educator.
right.
So I submitted my application. That's when Trump closed the schools. I got hired by the board that week before, and I was running the school from El Paso in Dallas. And that's where the change happened. Now, for us, I mean, no disrespect to people who lost family in Rona. I mean, no disrespect to people that were heavily affected, but the closure brought our family together. They had never seen dad there for dinner. They had never seen dad there to take walks as a family. They had never seen
Mm,
that because my
mm.
priority, my family was number three. If you want a successful school, your family will be probably like three or four. Your family's not number one. I had to make a decision and I made that choice.
For all the folks out there listening, those aspiring administrators, the reason why I didn't go into administration in a school, I went in central office, is because when you're a principal, your children and your family come second. That doesn't work well when you have little children. So I stayed in the classroom on purpose and I said, I'll become a principal later on. However,
Uh-huh.
I got invited into central office. In central office, if you're a specialist, if you're a curriculum person, you can still have a life. Yes, it's a lot of work, but you still have a life. Folks that are interested in this type of work, think about your family and think about your children because your children have a long time to be old, but a small window to be young.
Amen. Exactly. And so I would miss my kids' birthdays because I was in an
Mm,
area playoff. I would miss my kids' performance at an international school in El Paso because I would be going at a whatever championship tournament. I had to be seen there. This opportunity, I have no accountability with state requirements. I have no extra duty whatsoever. Only my parent nights once per semester. Now that I had a brand new kid, a brand new baby, that was where my focus was going to be. And from there,
mm,
we've evolved. For sure, we made consistency going to church. All I could do is making sure that I provide them the Lord's word. That's all I could do. From there, it's what they do because it's called free will. Free will after that, like you said, George, it's what we establish as dads, is what we
mm.
establish as parents. All we could do is lay the foundation. In the end, free will take over. Then we started seeing things that they like. I don't believe just being at that point, the 20 something years in education, I saw so many parents push stuff on kids that we learn being on this side. We learn how kids react when they get pushed hard. You will play football. I played football. You will do this because I did this. And you know
You
what? The
will go to
kid
this
does well being,
university. Yeah.
yeah, you will go to university. But you know
Right,
what?
right.
A lot of kids rebel. So since that moment, I've always said down to my kids, I go, if the best thing that you could give me, mijo, if the best thing you could give me are D pluses, and I know that that's you're working with merit, I love you, got you, bro. We'll find. If the best thing you could give me is an A, then I expect that A because that's what you're telling me. I will not tolerate you falling back. All right, if you're gonna
Mm,
try acting, my son is an actor. He likes trying. All right, then you stay with it. I'm not pushing you to do anything. You stay with it. My son is in football. You know what? That cat, he's out there. He's supporting them coaches. He's a freshman. You know what freshmen go with freshman ball is. They
Oh
go get
yeah.
the water bottle. They go pick up. He's taking pictures of the kids. He's committed to it. Much respect. Plus, he's in an early college as a freshman. Let's go, bro.
Wow.
I take away responsibilities from him at home because obviously the curriculum is different at an early college. But then what do you like? So my boy likes football. 2 years ago, we went to go see, I like South Carolina. Long story. We're not going to go into that. So I took him to go see Notre Dame play South Carolina in Florida.
Mm.
We enjoyed it, the whole environment of that. My middle boy, he likes listening to the music that I like. 80s rock will never go out of style. 80s rock. Just the other day, we went to Tulsa, Oklahoma to listen
Wait,
to
wait.
George Lynn. Yeah, it's just one of those where we enjoy the concerts. And then our contemporaries, the people that are 50 plus, they look at him and they're like, oh, I'm glad you're listening. They're, woo, some of my contemporaries, woo, they've really hit the wall, baby. But you know what? They enjoy seeing the youth. They enjoy seeing the youth out there. And then last year, I believe last year or the year before, TASSP in Texas, the conference, you need to present there. That's a big conference, just so you all know. TASSP. That's our administrators conference for Texan Association and
Oh,
ASSP,
gotcha, gotcha.
TASSP. It's over 2,000 administrators. You should apply for that presenter. I heard Morris Morrison. I don't know if you heard him. He's an African American married to a white woman, talking about the conflict between the races and how we could all be bonded through music. So he gave this
Mhm.
example of Virginia Tech. He was hired to go speak. He's more of a corporate level speaker. And he said, I didn't want to go to Virginia Tech. Who wants to go to Blacksburg, Virginia? No one wants to do that. Where is Blacksburg? And then he said,
Well, it's one
joking.
of the top 50 schools in America, though. It's in the top
Yeah,
50
but at that
schools.
point,
Yeah.
I got you. But at that point,
Okay,
he
I
didn't even
got you.
know about it.
Right, right, right,
And
right,
so
right, right.
then he was joking about it. He goes, they showed me the check. I go, let's go to Blacksburg. And so he goes, I've never seen a bonding like I've never seen a bonding in Virginia Tech. So what happens is at the stadium, hey, educator, if you want to bond with your kids, especially if they're into football in California and in Arizona, do it. I did it, and I'm going back this year so I could have ribs, meet George, and go see the game. What happens is that everyone starts doing their chant. I know SEC, just ACC, SEC, all these guys, they start doing a chant. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, what's going on? What's going on? Then it stops and they start Enter Sandman. Everybody
Mm.
starts jumping.
Metallica. It's Metallica, right? Yeah,
Exactly,
okay.
Metallica.
Yeah, okay.
Everyone starts jumping, and you feel the darn stadium shaking. I'm talking about grandma, grandpa, everyone is jumping. And woo, those goose pimples that you get right here. Woo,
Right,
it's
right,
just
right.
so awesome. And then I turn around and I look at my boys, and just the mega event, they're just mesmerized. To me, as a papa, at that moment when I saw that, it's right here. So when I need a happy place, I remember
Mhm.
their looks in the
Yeah,
environment. The
that's what I saw in my kid when The Undertaker and Triple H and John Cena came out and The Rock. And I saw his face, and I haven't seen that face since he was a little kid. I said to myself that this moment is priceless and we got to recreate this because I'm 49 now. I'm running out of time. I thought about you immediately. This was the thing that I wanted to talk with you about because I know there's somebody out there listening that needs this information. They need to understand that this is the methodology, this is the system, this is the framework. Take what they like, hang out with them, do the road trip, get the food. This is the framework. This is the recipe.
It's so true. There's a lot of things that we need to develop and self reflect, because you take each adventure of your life that God has provided for you on your pathway, your career, and then the sum total of all your decisions take you to that moment, whatever it might be, success or non success. And if you're not where you're supposed to be, then you know what? Some of those decisions were not the appropriate ones. Some of those battles that you died on are affecting you professionally. Some of the things that you
Mhm.
chose not to jump off of that mountain and try to get your wings out and fly, that was your decision. So the only thing that I can tell you right now, 32 years. I'm finishing 32. I've been at all grade levels, pre-K, and I've taught at master's level for future principals. I've done the whole gamut. And right now, one thing that I always hear over and over is all those people you helped will not be at your deathbed, only your family.
Mm,
All those
mm.
people will not be in the ICU like I was in the ICU. My mom lived at Thomas Jefferson High School in Burgess. She was in education for 30 years. She bled in the brain. Again, things that I've experienced. I had to, respectfully to anybody out there, I'm not trying to trigger anybody, but I had to make the decision to pull the plug on my mom.
Wow.
She was there. I had to tell her in her ear, go, mom. We'll be okay. Go, mom. She was a fighter. Even at the end, she wouldn't stop. Tell me how many people from administration at Thomas Jefferson reached out to me or to my mom when she was in ICU. Zero. Maybe three
Yeah.
teachers.
Yeah.
Nobody else. The only one that was by her bedside was her son. Nobody else. So when I say family first educator, that means family first. Because all those kids that you inspired, all those kids that love you, they do not know that you're going to be ill or that you passed because they've continued in their version of life. So remember, embrace and love your kids.